Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Please Call Me Crazy, brought to you by Free People Radio and now powered by our first sponsor, TireGet.com. That's TireGet.com. You have to buy tires from somebody. You might as well buy them from us. Help support the movement, help fund the movement. We believe in the freedom of movement, and that's exactly what the establishment wants to take from you now. I'm your host, Royce White, here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, for episode number 52. The day is May 26th, year of our Lord 2023. Episode number 52. Happy everybody. Thank you to everybody who is rejoining us or joining us for the first time. We appreciate your viewership today and in the future. We're happy to be growing at the pace we're growing at. I'm going to get right into things today because I have some pressing time commitments on this Friday afternoon, one of which involves coaching my son's sixth grade AAU basketball team, and we're pumped up. Got a big game tonight. Against a team that we lost to previously. Our first tournament, actually our first game of the summer, we lost to this team by 5 points. So we're excited to be able to play them again and hopefully get that game back. So that's on the agenda today. We didn't have a guest this week. We will have a guest next week. We may have multiple guests next week because the schedules just didn't permit today or this week to get an interview to you. But instead, I wanted to extend Wednesday's current events. There were a few videos I brought today. We're able to get our video situation in order. So I brought a few videos today to further discuss what we talked about on Wednesday with the Dodgers and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the LGBTQ wave that has swept across America and the entire Western world. Brought a few video clips today, brought some proof, brought some evidence, brought some receipts. I know how the mainstream media industrial complex would like to say anybody who opposes this LGBTQism is an alarmist and an extremist and a bigot and so on and so forth, a white supremacist. But we brought the receipts today. We brought some receipts for you today, and may I say they are dark to say the very least. They affirm everything we've been talking about. And what are we really talking about? Our country, our entire civilization is being run by corporatocracy. I mean, we live under a corporatocracy. We live under a corporatocracy that everybody wants to think of as a sort of entrepreneurial opportunity. Everybody's chance to be free and be their own boss or contribute some creative invention to society. And yes, it functions as that way, as that. But like I said before, you always got to sprinkle a little of the truth in with the lie. You always have to sprinkle a little of the real in with the fake. And the realness of creativity and ingenuity and entrepreneurial spirit is not beyond is not beyond co-opting, right? It's been co-opted. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being a high level CEO, all of those things now fall under the authority of global governing bodies. None more than what we're going to describe here today or show you today. CEI, Corporate Equality Index. The Corporate Equality Index is the LGBTQism social credit score for corporations. And the CEI, or the Corporate Equality Index, is going to now assess, analyze, measure the level of wokeness in your corporation, and then give recommendation that will be looked at by banks and financiers, whether it be hedge funds or big banks, to invest money in your business, to invest money in your company, to invest money in your idea, whether or not your idea is potentially profitable or beneficial to the human civilization or not. Corporate Equality Index. And when you look at who's running the Corporate Equality Index, CEI, you can look it up. The Human Rights Campaign. Oh, it went from black rights and civil rights as a means to expand the federal government to now human rights as a means to expand global government. Haven't we been saying that this whole time on the podcast, Tanner? I think it's like I'm preaching to the choir. Black rights, civil rights as a means to expand the federal government here in America. Now LGBTQism as a means to expand the government and governance of the world. Human Rights Campaign. And the Human Rights Campaign is funded by the Open Society, which is run and controlled, was founded by, I'm not sure if it was founded by, but certainly controlled and funded by none other than Senator Palpatine himself, George Soros. So we got Palpatine there, George Soros, Human Rights Campaign. Oh no, George Soros, Open Society, Human Rights Campaign, Corporate Equality Index. That's going to now be the adjudicator and judge of all of your wokeness in this global corporate community. Great. Don't believe me? Let's hear from the horse's mouth. We have a video here of a young woman, a relatively young woman, speaking at the World Economic Forum about this very matter. Take a listen.
I'm really proud to sit on WEF's Power of Media Task Force, and GLAAD is a very proud partner of the Partnership for Global LGBTQI Equality, which is also known as PGLE. And PGLE was launched right here in 2019 and is a project of WEF and the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. We work with the news, business, entertainment, faith leaders, sports, governments, and individual activists from around the globe to ensure and educate public people on LGBTQ issues and move policy forward. In the US, the Gallup poll this year showed that over 20% of Gen Z are LGBT. We've been running studies ourselves that include the Q, and so it's LGBTQ, and we expand the age from 18 to 34, and you can see nearly 40% of Gen Zers identify as LGBT.
Great. I mean, just so you understand what she's saying there. We work with politicians, and we work with sports, and we work with individual activists to expand the footprint of LGBTQ identity. And when you look at the natural bell curve of LGBTQ gender identity, we've been able to explode that by almost double. I think she said it was 20%. They've been able to move it to 40% within a certain age range, working through the media to all but brainwash. I mean, they're brainwashing you, and they're so gotcha, matter of fact with it, right? They're so arrogant. They're so fucking arrogant that they actually will brag about it. I want you to listen to this again and understand why Royce, the alarmist, right? Royce is an extremist. He's a doom and gloom guy. Well, here's why I am as passionate about these issues as I am. Here's why I go to profanity and curse these people as much as I do, because their arrogance knows no bounds. I mean, how can we as the American people, or any free people all around the world, accept this level of corruption, of wickedness, and of outright arrogance in with regards to it? How can we accept this? Let's listen again. Run it back. I want you to pay close attention to the arrogance, the sort of braggadocious nature of this. This is the WEF, and we're going to call it WEF. WEF, a little posh yuppie name to make you feel good about the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, dumping money in to all but change the gender identity of an entire generation. They're admitting to it. If you're at home and you're watching and you're in this age range, if you think you're LGBTQ, think again. Maybe you're fucking not. Maybe you're not LGBTQ. Maybe you're not pansexual. Maybe you're not a queer. Maybe you're not non-binary. Maybe the same government and system that you've always said was corrupt and wanted to brainwash you or trick you or treat you unjustly or oppress you or whatever the fuck else fit the narrative at the time. Maybe those same people are going right up on the world stage, going right up to the podium and saying, we are brainwashing an entire generation to identify as LGBTQ. Just maybe. Just maybe. Listen again. Just maybe.
I'm really proud to sit on WEF's Power of Media Task Force.
Oh, she's
and
proud.
GLAAD is a very proud partner
Very
of the
proud.
Partnership for Global LGBTQI Equality, which is also known as PGLE. And PGLE was launched right here in 2019 and is a project of WEF and the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. We work with the news, business, entertainment, faith leaders, sports, governments, and individual activists from around the globe to ensure and educate public people on LGBTQ issues and move policy forward. In the US, the Gallup poll this year showed that over 20% of Gen Z are LGBT. We've been running studies ourselves that include the Q, and so it's LGBTQ, and we expand the age from 18 to 34, and you can see nearly 40% of Gen Zers identify as LGBT.
Nearly 40%. If you expand the definition to Q and you move the age range from 18 to 34, it goes from 20% in the Gallup poll to nearly 40% of people identify as LGBTQ. You peep and you wonder why I keep saying posh, yuppie, neoliberal, neocon, omnisexual, cosmopolitan wine society. This is why. This is it. You 18 to 34-year-olds out there. I'm 32 years old. So I'm almost out of the bracket, I guess. But what the fuck has happened out here? What is going on? When did you become so and you fancy yourself as woke? This is what's scary. You fancy yourself as woke. You fancy yourself as having this vast vibrational understanding of the universe. And everybody's a cosmic being now, right? I look out at social media and every girl has some type of astrology or zodiac or cosmic, wokeness. You're all cosmic beings. All move, you're all vibrating on a different frequency, right? You all woke up. You all see beyond the scam. You won't be led anymore by the vitriol and hatred of radical white supremacy and the patriarchy. You all know better. But here, a posh, yuppie, white liberal woman walks up on stage with polka dot sheer shouldered blouse. Okay, doesn't get any more fucking posh than that. Doesn't get any more yuppie and aristocratic than that. Show a picture of it again. Just show the video again, but just show the picture of what she's wearing. Look what she's wearing. Just show it. Just pause it right there. What the fuck is this bitch wearing? What is this bitch wearing? It does not get any more yuppie and posh than this. Okay? These are your leaders? And she comes right out and says, we're brainwashing you. We're paying media, news, politicians. What else did she say? Sports figures, faith leaders. Oh, the World Economic Forum faith leaders. Would you fancy that? Faith leaders of the World Economic Forum. Which faith leaders is she talking about? Do you think she's talking about Catholics, priests? Maybe, some, few sellouts out there. You think she's talking about Protestants? No, my friends. No, she's talking about a different type of faith entirely, isn't she? She's talking about the type of faith that has become the new normalized anti-faith. She's talking about the rise of Satanism, right? And I pulled this video for you to help encapsulate how popular this sort of Luciferian, vegan cokehead faith has become. And there are a lot of non-binary, they, thems, okay? And this person on Instagram identifies as they, them, no surprise there. But they also, identify as vegan and whatever else, cosmic being, right? Another cosmic being. Here's a video from Instagram of a guy. I think he goes by the name Morg. I don't even know. These people are freaks. Now I'm done being polite about it. I'm done being cordial. If you want to get together with 5 other guys and Harry Back, spaghetti strap, halter top shirt or blouse, and you guys want to, get in a circle or get in a line, or go to some eyes wide shut, hotel room, Motel 6, and blow loads on each other's stomachs, fine. That's fine. Tanner finds that hilarious. But I'm serious. Look, if that's what you want to do, that's your business. That has nothing to do with me. I mean, you're an American citizen. You have rights. You can do that if that's what you want. But to think that you're going to start a persecution line or a prosecution line or an execution line against Catholics or against Christian, you got another fucking thing coming. Blow loads on each other all you want to. Fine. You're not going to start an execution line on Christians. Not happening. Get ready, motherfuckers. Get ready. You and all your little cohort, go ahead and get yourself ready, because it will never fucking happen. We will die. We will live, fight, and die for the things we believe in. And you can take you and your circle jerk circus, and you guys can go off to the forest and cut holes in trees and dick rub through the holes in the trees if you want. Fine. Perfect. Go ahead. Do it. That's America. That's the beauty of this country. You're not going to start an execution line on. And you might think, why are you so hostile, Royce? Why are you so upset? Why are you so animated? Let's look at this fucking Finocchio, and you'll understand exactly why I'm saying it, why I feel the way I feel. This fucking guy thinks that we're going to stand by, we're going to sit by and wait for an execution line on Christians. This fucking guy. Play the video.
What if Lucifer was actually the hero all along? Jesus Christ died to save you from a punishment he gave out in the first place. And he didn't even stay dead. He came back to life in 3 days. Lucifer sacrificed his place in heaven and subjected himself to eternal damnation to bring knowledge and freedom to humanity. Jesus has been used as a tool of the church to keep people in line and maintain their power over the masses. What if the church has distorted his teachings to suit their own needs, just like they condemned Lucifer as satanic? They've used his teachings to justify wars, crusades, and the subjugation of entire populations. Well, they need a figure to represent evil, to scare people and keep them away from free thought and knowledge. And they need a figure to represent the good, as well as submission and obedience, to keep people in line and keep them coming back to church. It's important to remember that these are stories. Look inside to find true knowledge.
I won't even play that again. It's so blasphemous. But I need you to understand, this is the reality. Now understand, this guy made this video himself, and true knowledge at the end is depicted as what? A picture of the vast universe, this cosmos, right? This Luciferianism is all predicated around this grander knowledge of the cosmos. This fucking guy thinks we're going to stand by and let him create some kind of sycophantic, weird, perverted policy instruction to outlaw Christianity and round us up if we believe in Christ? He really believes that? I'll tell you why he believes that. Because your 501c3 Christians let these people get comfortable. And am I saying that you should go out and throw rocks and stone them? Am I saying that you should be violent towards them? No, but you should counter-protest them to death. Oh, the Christian counter-protesters of the pride in the LGBTQ community should be vast. And all the LGBTQ people who just genuinely, on a Friday night, they get a little kinky and they want to blow a load on another guy's stomach. All of those people, they need to know exactly what type of Luciferianism some within their cohort are pushing. Just like some within the Republican Party are actually pushing white supremacy. Just like some within the black community are actually pushing black supremacy. Just like some within the Jewish community are actually pushing Jewish supremacy. These people are pushing satanic supremacy over Christians. You got your gays and lesbians who identify as Christian. You got homosexuals who identify as Christian. I know some. Am I saying God's happy or accepts their lifestyle? No. But they actually identify as Christian. But the overwhelming energy and direction of this LGBTQ movement has now been openly hijacked by Luciferianism. There it is right there. They, them. Jesus Christ is really not the good guy in the story. Lucifer is. He wants to bring knowledge and understanding to humanity. He was cast out because he wanted to bring knowledge and humanity to knowledge and understanding to humanity. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. You see the link? Perpetual indulgence, what they're trying to suggest is that when you go back to the story of Genesis with Adam and Eve, that the forbidden fruit was just God's arrogance, was God's, was the arrogance of God trying to keep knowledge, divine knowledge away from man. And Lucifer was fallen because he just wanted to give man that knowledge. Well, the knowledge that he's given to man is actually free will. That the will of man can lead to a perpetual indulgence of vice and sin and your obsession with your own worldly, fleshly self. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's merit to what he's saying. Oh, don't get me wrong. The devil has a great sales pitch here in the world. Here in the physical world. Gets a little hot after. Gets a little hot. It gets a little uncomfortable after the fact. But everybody has to, cross that road when they get there. And we all will. And we'll see. We'll see. Everybody thinks it's great. It's great. I'm here for 75 years. Think of how small 75 years is in an eternity. Think about how short 75 years, if you're all fortunate enough to be 75, because you black homosexuals that have bought into this whole narrative, you male homosexual, you black gays out there who have a 50% chance of contracting HIV in a lifetime. 50% HIV. It's funny to me that it's a matter of national security or public safety when a virus breaks out and people don't wear masks or they speak out against the gain-of-function research or even vaccine mandates. It's funny how that's considered harmful to public safety. That's a public safety issue. But gay black men have a 50% chance of contracting HIV, and it's not a public safety issue to promote homosexuality in a local target where black men may be shopping. The scam is out of control. It's absurd. And we're going to follow this. And you're following this guy. You're following this guy. Don't get it twisted, black folks out there. You're following this fucking clown, this freak. You're following him, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to accept it or not. And I'll show you. Here next, we have a state senator from Nebraska, Michaela Cavanaugh, testifying in front of what I would believe is a state legislator at the behest of this LGBTQ movement, the World Economic Forum, right? And all of their many politicians and media and news and activists that they work with, right? That they've collaborated with in this sort of artistic quarter of Luciferian revolution. There is no God. God is just a form of control. There is no Christ. And in fact, in order to reject Christ, the only reasonable way to reject Christ is to make up some hypothetical story about Lucifer being the good guy. And you think that's just by chance? There are no coincidences, there are no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences. Is it a coincidence that Luciferianism and Satanism is popping up at the rate it is? I would say not. But let's listen to this. Let's listen to the next fat, yuppie, liberal, woke white woman testify in the state legislature about trans people. You tell me, do these people seem sane to you? I know you would call me crazy, for sure. I'm crazy. The Washington Post, The Guardian, the Mother Jones, they all want to call me crazy. I'm the crazy one. You go to Wikipedia, Royce White, severe mental health issues. This woman is completely sane and logical. Roll the tape. Let's see.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.
What did we just watch? This is like the guy in the background did not even acknowledge it. That's how accustomed he is to people coming in there with any manner of theatrical scams for their political ambitions. He didn't even break stride, but the sound. I mean, dogs would lose it at the sound of that voice. The sound got so overwhelming, eventually he had to just get up and leave. He couldn't take it anymore. If you're watching with us, you go back, you watch the video. There's a guy in the background over to the right, over her shoulder, and he's just sitting there, and he doesn't even look up. He doesn't even look up because he's used to this. I mean, this isn't new to him. You know, he's probably some attendant guy who just works in the state legislature and, shows people to their seats or is security or whatever the case may be. Maybe he's a politician. I don't even know. He didn't even break stride. I mean, he was looking at something in his lap. He didn't even look up. And eventually because she just overwhelmed him with just a war of attrition on the male psyche. And this is your posh, yuppie, liberal white woman. This is your woke white woman. This is the result of MK Ultra. This is an LGBTQ MK Ultra that we're watching. I mean, these white women, what kind of little bubble do you have to live in? You have to live in a little CNN, New York Times, Pride Parade, BLM, Gloria Steinem, How to Be a Woman for Dummies section of the Barnes & Noble, yoga Judeo-Buddhist sage class, right? You have to live in that little bubble to work yourself up emotionally, spiritually, to put on that kind of performance. I mean, what is she actually thinking? Now, bring it back up on the screen, just a picture of her. I want to point out a few ad hominems. We're going to go ad hominem because how could I not? I mean, look at the evidence. Posh, yuppie, liberal, white woman. Democrat to boot, has to wear the blue, has to virtue signal with the blue crushed velvet overcoat and the spectacular floral print. The whole getup probably has some type of symbolic meaning because that's how these posh omnisexual cosmopolitans live, right? You got some weird, chain there. It looks like a rainbow chain, doesn't it? So some type of rainbow chain. And then you got this floral print, which I'm sure is, representative of all the colors of the LGBTQ omnisexual community. And then you got the Democrat overcoat, right? Because the Democrats are the protectorate of the LGBTQ. And even here, you got a black base to this blouse she has on, probably an opine to black people being infused in the LGBTQ omnisexual movement and advocacy. This woman would call herself an ally. I know the whole motif. I mean, this is the Minneapolis Democrat community to boot. These are who these fat white bitches are. And they've taken over your country. And you don't like the word bitch, but the real question is why you don't like the result of them taking over the country. Why are you more offended by the word bitch than you are being $32 trillion in debt, or the focus of our national interest being LGBTQ policy and listening to crazy lunatics like this go on for 3 minutes and waste time at a state legislator about trans people? Why is that? Why does that not bother you? And don't act like, the two are mutually exclusive, right? Right? Because you get to a point where, how many ways can you just cordially deny or reject this type of philosophy, this type of ideology? I mean, how civil can you be with these people, right? At some point, you have to just say, fuck you crazy bitches, right? I mean, at some point, you should arrive at that place, especially after 50 fucking years of this, right? Oh, this is not new. I could pull up footage from the 1970s of white women doing the exact same thing. And you know what? The white guy who's sitting in the background, he doesn't break stride. He's a symbol of the modern white male in America who puts up with this. And that's the entire motif, is to just get up and move away, ignore. Get up, leave the house. Get up, go to the bar. Get up, go to your fantasy football league with your friends, right? Drink beer and waste your life. That's why people it's clear. People have adopted sports as a religion because it's a catharsis for many white men for their shit home lives, their shit family lives, with their nagging, nail screeching voiced white wives. People don't like to hear that, but pull the picture up again. First of all, how do you get the name Michela? Michela Kavanaugh? I know who her mom her mom was probably trained in the Marxist intellectual tradition. Let's look her up. I want to see who this woman is now. Let's see if we can find some information on her. This is probably going to be just overwhelming. This is going to probably take the cake. I didn't look this woman up. I don't really know who she is. Don't know her backstory, but I'm sure we could find it. Her name is Michela, Maechala, Kavanaugh with a C, Cauvanaughugh. Kavanaugh. Let's see who this woman is. Let's see who her parents are. I'm sure we're going to be pleasantly surprised to see how deep the rabbit hole goes on this one. No Wikipedia. Probably not big enough. State legislator. Anyway, do we really need to even find it? We don't even need to find it. Look at her. How do you end up like this? This is the model of a liberal, atheist, Judeo-Buddhist worldview. Oh, bring her up. Oh, here we go. Great. Fantastic. Nebraska state legislator. Great. Committee assignments. Just blow it up. Committee, go down. No, wait, go up. First of all, our committee assignments are Health and Human Services, of course, Transportation and Telecommunications, Legislative Performance Audit, of course. Okay, go down, scroll down. Okay. Graduated from, does that say Marion High School? University of St. Thomas. BA, University of St. Thomas. University of Nebraska. Wait. University of St. Thomas. Please don't tell me that's University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. Look, is there more than one University of St. Thomas? University of St. Thomas. Put it in. Yeah, I think there is. There's probably more than one university at St. Thomas. Houston, Texas has a University of St. Thomas. Minnesota has a University of St. Thomas. So there's more than one University of St. Thomas. I wouldn't be surprised if she went to the University of St. Thomas here in Minnesota. It'd make perfect sense that she went to the University of St. Thomas. And it would make perfect sense that there's a lot of woke people coming from Catholic universities. All right. Okay, go scroll down. Okay, family life. Huh. Funny. Married woman with 3 children. She wants a trans life that leads to no children. Right. Makes sense. Hates herself. Scroll. Member board and here we go. Inclusive communities, preschool advisory committee, Morningstar Preschool. That's who she's informing for. Okay. Child health fellow, maternal, state legislatures for maternal and child health fellow. Of course. I mean, the entire motherhood feminist motif is being merged with the LGBTQ. People who can actually have children, people who actually have to deal with having children and bearing children are now being merged with the interests of people who cannot have children, but say that they can have children. It's getting absolutely ridiculous. Okay, enough of this. This is who runs your, these are the torchbearers of the Corporate Equality Index. They run our country. They are running our country. Can you bring up the Corporate Equality Index for me on Google? I just want to show you guys where to find this type of information. Corporate Equality Index, CEI. There we go. Human Rights Campaign, right at the top, of course. Okay. Human Rights Campaign, is that .org? HRC.org. Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index is the national benchmarking tool on corporate policies. And now you wonder why the NBA had a problem with a young black man calling into question the collective bargaining agreement and corporate policy, mental health policy, human rights policy, human condition policy, because they had these plans in mind and they all knew it. Omnisexual corporate community. We're being led by a gay corporatocracy. Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index is the national benchmarking tool on corporate policies, practice, and benefits pertinent to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer employees. Scroll down. 20 years of impact. Stop. They're celebrating 20 years of impact. This stuff is just popping up. You're just getting hip to this. You're just starting to understand what's going on here. They're already celebrating 20 years. They had a 20-year head start on you. In the 2000s, the game was on. Press accept, so I can't see. I think they got a cookies little. Okay. As the national benchmarking tool measuring policies, practices, and benefits pertinent to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ plus employees, the Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index is a primary driving force for LGBTQ plus workplace inclusion. Data from the CEI tells the story of nearly 2 decades of year-over-year growth in the adoption of these critical policies and practices indicative of employers' commitment to equality. Scroll down. See what else we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Who are the companies? Oh, here we go. We got numbers. Here we go. 842 best places to work for LGBTQ plus equality. In 2022, CEI, 842 employers achieved a top score of 100 and earning the coveted title of best place to work for LGBTQ plus equality. 130, that's fucking spooky. Okay. They're giving out a social credit score for LGBTQ policies is what's going on here. 138 newly rated companies, 138 companies from nearly every industry participated in the CEI for the first time this year, 2023. Fortune 500 employers actively participated in the 2022 CEI. Of 500 Fortune 500 companies, 379 participated in the CEI. 152 American Law Magazine 200 law firms actively participated in the 2021 CEI. Out of the 200 American Law Magazine law firms, 152 are in on the deal. Scroll down. Here we go. Equality at the Fortune-ranked companies. Sexual orientation in U.S. non-discrimination policy. All Fortune 500, 93%. 100% participating, 76% not participating. I don't know what that even means. Gender identity, and it goes on and on and on. Go scroll down. Inclusive benefits, scroll up. Oh, this is great. Inclusive policies and benefits. 99.8% of CEI-rated employers explicitly include sexual orientation as a part of their non-discrimination policy. 99.7% of CEI-rated employers explicitly include gender identity as a part of their non-discrimination policy. 77% of CEI participants documented that they provide inclusive benefits for same and different sex spouses and partners. 91% of CEI-rated businesses, a record 1,160 of 1,271 respondents, offer at least one transgender inclusive plan option with current market standard coverage. Scroll down. Let's just see what else we got here. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Nah, we'll skip this. Open society. Let's go to the head honcho. Google it. Open society. Foundation. Yep, here we go. Open society. Go to the Wikipedia. Well, I know what story they're going to tell. Okay, here we go. Open society foundations. This is the juice behind the Human Rights Campaign, the HRC. Founded in, what does that say, 1993, 30 years ago? 30-year head start on you fuckers. 30-year head start on you jerk-offs. 30-year head start on you 501c3 POs and you boomers. 30 years. I'm just 30, okay? They're getting a head start on you when I was just taking my first steps. I can't be held accountable for this shit. I can't be held accountable for all of what's taking place in this country. And my profanity certainly isn't to blame for what's taking place in this country. 30-year head start, 1993. Founder, George Soros. Shocker. Open Society, formerly the Open Society Institute, is a grant-making network founded and chaired by business magnate George Soros. Open Society Foundations financially supports civil society groups around the world with the stated aim of advancing justice, education, public health, and independent media. Independent media, really? Okay, scroll down. Does it show you some of their grants, some of their grantees? Let's see here. Activities. Oh, go up, scroll up, right here. Okay. In 2017, Open Society Foundations and other NGOs which promote open government and help refugees targeted for crackdowns by authoritarian and populist governments who have been emboldened by encouraging signals from the Trump administration. Take it down. Take it down. Take it down. What else do I need to say? I mean, what else do I really need to say? What else do I really, what more do you need to know? What more evidence do you need that George Soros, not only is George Soros funding and writing grants for all these human rights campaigns that are openly bragging about brainwashing our children in LGBTQ theory. Not only that, he's also financing the campaigns of district attorneys and judges. And their claim to fame is that they're trying to work for what? Open borders. Refugees. Refugees they're now going to create from wars that they're starting, like in the Ukraine. And they did start the war in the Ukraine. And the war is heating up in the Ukraine. And now we're going to send F-16s, right? Now we're going to escalate it even further. Because why not? I mean, once you're in the shit, as they say, sometimes the only way out is through. Right. Now we're going to send fighter jets. As if the missiles and weapons we sent in the first place to the Ukraine that started the war wasn't enough. Let's triple down. Let's triple down in a potential nuclear exchange. How about it? How about it, guys? Way to go. Way to go, Biden. Way to go, United States government. Way to go, security state. On day one, we should dismantle the entire security state. We should dismantle the entire intelligence community. These people are not worth they are not worth their weight in anything. Paper. They're not worth their weight in anything. The Joint Chiefs, get rid of them. Get rid of the Joint Chiefs too. Day one, executive order Trump. Get rid of the Joint Chiefs. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. I mean, this is borderline treason. What's taking place here? I don't know if you people understand this or not. Probably not, because we've been so enculturated with military-industrial complex corruption that we don't really see it this way. But when you are pulled into a war with another nation that has potential cataclysmic outcomes, knowingly, willingly, consciously, when you put your own citizens in that level of danger, with that level of recklessness, what do you call that? The only way you don't call it treason is if you don't believe that the government works for we the people. You believe we work for the government, and a lot of people do believe that. We don't work for our government. Our government works for us. Our elites have betrayed the American people. We are in a collision course for a nuclear exchange. And what's more scary than the death that will occur, in that nuclear exchange, is the ramifications and the result of policy that'll be erected from the ashes. Post-apocalyptic society, one world government. Putin's executed, Putin's assassinated, or even worse yet, Putin's in on it, and they all team up and double down on authoritarianism. Scary, that probably. I know most of you don't want to even confront that possibility. I would sure like to not believe it's the case, but it's in the realm of possibilities, isn't it? We don't know who this fucking guy is. KGB. Don't trust any of them. I wouldn't trust any of them. Don't trust anybody. That's part of the brilliance of the governance that was set up by our founding fathers. We're not reliant on trusting any other nation or its leaders on their word. We're not relying upon that for our freedom. We're not relying upon that for our citizenship. We do give over our representation to government. We do give over our representation through elections to government officials who are supposed to govern in our interests. But as we see, somehow, fight. I might start calling them fight. Fat, yuppie white women are going on 3-minute diatribes and theatrical performances about trans people. The state legislator. You think she'd bring up the Ukraine war? I venture to guess what position she would hold on the Ukraine war. And when you start to piece it together, when you say, okay, this fat white woman would be here on, or this black bourgeoisie grandstanding black woman would be here on these set of issues. Where's the conspiracy theory? There's a political conspiracy in this country to distract us from pertinent issues and corrupt us in others. To distract us from pertinent issues by corrupting the narrative with other issues. This ain't even about trans people. Sure, they'll take the kids as a bonus, because that's how Satanists think. But the main issue is to completely kill the American citizens' morale and their idea of citizenship and freedom. That's the real goal. To overwhelm you, to discourage you, to demoralize you, that American citizenship is an afterthought. American citizenship is dead. The power of the American citizen is dead. That's what it's meant to do. to overwhelm you with absurdity. So you wake up in the morning and think, is anybody else really willing to stand and fight against this nonsense? Rebuke these people. Rebuke and refute in the name of Christ, but also in the name of America. Rebuke and refute this nonsense. Let's look at the latest news from the Ukraine and Russia war and them sending the F-16s. Let's see what the security state has to say. Let's see what the security state has to say now. I saw the other day, I forgot what, I think Zelensky said, pull it up. Oh, here we go. Great job, state.gov. Great pull, Dad. Great pull. Stop. You know your government's out of control when your official .gov sites now integrate Twitter feeds. You know your government's lost all sense of integrity and moral compass when your official government sites incorporate Twitter feeds. Latest Ukraine updates, state.gov. This is the State Department. We will continue to act with our allies and partners in imposing costs on Russia if it continues its war of choice. Anthony Blinken. Oh, okay, great. Scroll down. After repeated threats to withdraw from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, Russia now refuses to allow any of the waiting 28 ships into Pivdeni. I think that's what it says, right? Pivdeni, one of the 3 ports designated by the government for food exports. A clear violation of their commitment Russia must stop. Russia continues to use food as a weapon of war, and it's having a devastating impact on Ukraine and countries around the world. I mean, these people think we're fucking stupid. This is literally a war of sanctions and propaganda. I mean, right at the top, they have this quote from Blinken that says they're going to impose costs on Russia and sanctions on Russia, which means they're trying to impose material and resource costs to dissuade Russia from their military campaign, while turning around and saying that Russia is wrong for holding up the food. They're playing the same game we're playing. They're playing the exact same game we're playing. And when I say we, I'm not saying we, the American people. I'm saying we as the United States government that represents us, because really, there's no fucking we about it. It's got nothing to do with us. We don't need fucking food from the Ukraine. Insofar as any food we need from the Ukraine is a part of the same globalization scam set up by Kissinger and his water boy Nixon in the 70s to create this global economy where America's self-sufficient nation becomes reliant on all these other international relationships. Outside of that, we don't need any goddamn food from the Ukraine. Other than that, we don't need any food from the Ukraine. We don't need anything from the Ukraine. The Ukraine has nothing to do with us. Nothing. But we're going to keep pushing the war. Go back to the original search. Go back to the original. Now go to news. We can just pick some. I mean, scroll down. Oh, this is what I wanted to show them. Go to the video. We're going to play the video where the Russians are recruiting the CIA. I want to play that video. I talked about it, but I want to play the video. I think it's a CNN video. Let's play that to head out today. CIA recruits Russians. Yeah, there should be a CNN video of it. You can go to YouTube, actually, to pull it up. I want you guys to hear this and just understand, When the CIA publicly makes a statement that it's actively recruiting Russians, Russians inside Russia to work for the American government and spy on the Russians, that is an act of war. We are no longer in a proxy war. We're in an actual war with Russia. I think people are waiting on Congress to declare that we're at war with Russia. We're at war. We're at war. Anytime the American government, operationalizes its intelligence community to do counterintelligence or spy inside another nation, we're at war. And I'm not saying the KGB or the CCP aren't running similar operations here. In fact, it's strange that we are so invested in operationalizing or recruiting Russians inside Russia, but we have no problem with the Chinese having police stations here in America or in Mexico or Canada for that matter. Let's play it. Let's play this video. CIA's recruiting Russian spies. Nope, go to CNN. No, right there on YouTube. Nope, pull it over. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Yep. CIA recruit Russians. Nope, just Russians. Just put in CIA recruit. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Boom. Top of the queue.
CNN learning exclusively about a new CIA campaign, and this one is aimed at recruiting Russians.
Stop. Here we have more posh, yuppie, liberal, white bitches with those same blue blouses on. If you see a posh, yuppie, aristocratic, cosmopolitan, omnisexual, white woman with a blue blouse on, run for the fucking hills. Okay? Start it over. Look at this smile that she has when talking about this issue, when talking about what she's saying. I mean, it's like she has no kind of remorse. She doesn't have a second thought about what she's saying. Go ahead and play it.
CNN learning exclusively about a new CIA campaign, and this one is aimed at recruiting Russians to spy for the United States. Our Alex Marquardt obtaining remarkable video from the CIA with their message intended to lure Russians and turn them against Putin.
Stop. Start it again. And let me just say this. Obtain video from the CIA. First of all, if the CIA doesn't want you to have the video, you don't get the video. Okay, remember, the CIA and the NSA have chased Edward Snowden into the blizzard ice-covered mountains of Siberia. Okay, if the security state, if the intelligence community doesn't want information to get out, it doesn't get out. Or people pay a heavy price for it to get out. Certainly posh, yuppie, liberal women aren't on the nightly news on CNN just saying, hey, we got a video from the CIA. We've obtained a video from the CIA. No, the CIA handed this video over. The CIA is openly bragging about what they're doing. They posted the CIA posted the video on social media. When your intelligence community has social media accounts, when your State Department has Twitter integrated into its site, Twitter feeds, you know you got big fucking problems. The CIA is openly provoking Russia and escalating this conflict openly. They don't care about the Ukrainians. They don't care about the Ukrainians dying. It's all about democracy. It's all about the post-World War II democratic liberal order. Start it again. CIA just dropped the video off at CNN. Go ahead.
CNN learning exclusively about a new CIA campaign, and this one is aimed at recruiting Russians to spy for the United States. Our Alex Marquardt obtaining remarkable video from the CIA
exclusive
with their message intended to lure Russians and turn them against Putin. It is a story you'll see first out front.
Это та жизнь, о которой я мечтал.
Is this the life I dreamed of? The path I chose. This is all in Russian.
Being asked in Russian in a new dramatic video by the CIA, just released to try to recruit more Russian spies by appealing to Russians' patriotism, frustrations, and the oppression they face under the Putin regime. CIA officials told CNN in an exclusive interview that the war in Ukraine has created an unprecedented opportunity that they want to capitalize on to recruit new Russian assets.
Disaffection with the war will continue to gnaw away at the Russian leadership beneath the steady diet of state propaganda and practiced repression.
In the past year of the war, the CIA has been encouraging Russians with valuable information to contact them quietly, securely, and anonymously through a portal on the dark web.
We're looking around the world for Russians who are as disgusted with that as we are, because we're open for business.
Instructions have been posted on the CIA's social media accounts. And this new video, after making an emotional pitch to Russian viewers, details how to do that using the dark web browser called Tor. You're not powerless, it says. Contact us in a safe way. The CIA recruitment video was first posted Monday evening on Telegram, the social media app that is highly popular among Russians who can't easily access unfiltered news or other social media sites.
I call that hanging out the shingle. Spreading the word far and wide that U.S. and counterintelligence is open for business, and we have deep pockets. And if you want to strike back against this man you hate, Vladimir Putin, you have an opportunity now to do it safely.
CIA officials told CNN they hope the video will resonate beyond intelligence and security officials, with people who may not realize that they have sensitive information to share, working, for example, in cyber, tech, finance, and other fields. They may think contacting the CIA is too difficult or too dangerous. The CIA telling CNN they want to demystify that.
We need people all through the Russian economy to cooperate with us. We need to know what's going on in this adversary country.
There is no direct mention of Putin or Ukraine, nor, CIA officials insist, is it meant to fuel unrest in Russia. Rather, they tell CNN these are timeless themes that they hope will drive Russians into the arms of the CIA.
Это всегда будет моя Россия. Я выстою.
Stop. This has been another episode of Please Call Me Crazy, brought to you by Free People Radio. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but you know, this is absolutely out of control. The CIA, look, no, this has nothing to do with the war. It doesn't have anything to do with the war. This isn't about that. These are timeless. These are timeless pieces of propaganda that will hopefully drive more and more Russians into the CIA, into the arms of the CIA, who are open for business. And we have deep pockets. We have deep, deep pockets. If you want to betray your country, just contact us. If you want to betray your country, just contact us. We don't believe in borders. We don't believe in nations. We don't believe in citizenship. We don't believe in national honor. We don't believe in sacred honor. Just call us. We got money, right? And again, to go back to Wednesday, it makes me think of the story of Assad. When Assad says, these Americans are trying to arm rebels in Syria to overthrow my regime. I have to find them. I have to capture them. And if need be, I have to torture them and kill them. And that's dark, but there are rules to war. And the rules to war are, if you get caught spying for the enemy, you get a bullet in the head. Sorry, that's the rule. So think about all the Russians that they're trying to incentivize with money. Think of the danger they're putting them in. Think of how many materialistic or money-driven or politically, political-minded Russians that the CIA is going to put in harm's way. And if the Russians try and spy and try and cooperate with the CIA and they kill the Russians, do you think the CIA is going to stand up and say, we were responsible for X number of deaths of people who we tried to recruit? No, they're not going to do that. What they're going to say is Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. He's a heinous and tyrannical and evil man for killing his own people. The same way they did with Assad, the same way they did with Saddam. Are we starting to see a pattern here? That the American military, the American elites, our political elites, and our intelligence community is so arrogant. They think they can post videos online trying to bribe people to spy on their own country, trying to bribe treason out of other citizens across the world. And this is supposed to be a movement about democracy. Give me a break. Don't die a jerk off. The fight continues, and as always, Godspeed.